from our thinking, went towards the Meccans rather than towards the Muslims. But Allah calls it a victory for the Muslims. Because in that peace, it established a time of peace to exist between the Meccans and the Muslims of 10 years. Of 10 years. Which meant that now the Muslims can begin to live their life without thinking about war, without thinking about defending themselves from the Meccans. Because the Meccans was always trying to defeat the Muslims even after the Prophet moved to Medina. The Meccans was always coming, trying to defend it. So this treaty brought about peace between the idol worshippers and the Muslims for 10 years. Allah called that a victory. Some of the Muslims, like Omar ibn al-Khattab, was angry, according to the history. But he did not understand the situation at that time, but the Prophet did. And the Prophet made the agreement with them. So he sent Uthman to the Meccans to work out a treaty or an agreement to allow them to come not for Hajj, but for Umrah. And they had no weapons or nothing. There was about 1,400 of them. They had no weapons or nothing. So Uthman stayed so long they thought they had killed him, or thought they had arrested him. That was the rumor. But it wasn't. When he came back, he told them what the Meccans wanted to do, and they were going to write up this proposal. And the Prophet accepted the proposal after a few changes, because in the changes it says it refers to Prophet Muhammad as the messenger of Allah. The Meccans wouldn't accept that. They wouldn't accept that, messenger of Allah. So the Prophet told Ali, his nephew, he told him to strike that out. To strike that out. Muslims got, you know how Muslims get hung up on titles. Anytime we get hung up on a title, we're going to lose the big picture when we get hung up on a title. Like if someone don't call me Imam, that's a title. That's nothing to get hung up on. So what? That's not my name anyway. My name is Abdul Kareem Hassan. That's my name. So the title is not there. It's what I do that gives you that name for that particular time. But that's not my name. I don't even sign things like that. I don't sign things when I get an official letter from other people and they want me to sign. I don't sign it like Imam Abdul Kareem. That's not my name. My name is Abdul Kareem Hassan. I would tell them later on down there what my position is in the community, but that's not my name. Anyway, so the position doesn't make me what I am. It is what I believe and what I follow and what I accept and what I'm committed to. That's what makes me my character. Is what makes me what I am. And we should be that whether there's title or not. We can get confused over that. But some of them got angry because of the title erased by Ali. Ali erased, the Prophet told him to erase the title. Then after that, the revelation came that it was a victory. And when the Prophet sent for, and they were back in Medina. So when the Prophet sent for Omar, Omar came, and Omar was afraid, according to the history. He was afraid that the Prophet was going to get on him for being angry and ready to fight, and they didn't even have any weapons. They had swords, but the swords stayed sheathed. They could carry swords even to this day, but the swords had to stay sheathed or locked in like the police do with their guns. So, but that's not what the Prophet was called for. The Prophet didn't hold anger like that. The Prophet didn't hold grudges like that either. So what the Prophet called him to let him know what the revelation was, which is I think it's the 40th chapter of the Quran. What the revelation was that this was a victory, not a defeat, and not a surrender to the enemy, but a victory, because now we have peace for 10 years. So during this peaceful time, we can go out anywhere and spread the message of Al-Islam. They didn't see all of that. Spread the message of Al-Islam. And in the few years between the time that they signed that peace treaty and the time that they came back, they had increased their numbers to 10,000. Now that's a 10,000 is a lot of people. And when that 10,000 showed up on the outskirts of Mecca, thoughts begin to change. You know, it's like you haven't. It's like the idea of the Nation of Islam was this, especially with security. A lot of times, whatever somebody has in their pocket gives them nerve. If a man have a knife in his pocket, that gives him a little more nerve than he would have had if he didn't have anything. Or if he had a gun on his possession, that gives him nerves too. He can talk louder and talk better and talk all that crazy talk. But if you take his knife from him, if you take his gun from him, he's just a normal man like you, and then that kind of belligerence kind of find a way to settle down somewhat. Because your nerve is in your pocket. Right. Your nerve is your knife. Your nerve is your gun. That's what your nerve is. False nerve, but yet it's backed up by a lethal force, a lethal instrument here. So you take all that stuff off of them, and they have no more than you. Now it's just Himano. And that's what people who carry those things want. They want an edge. So they have to carry these things to keep that edge. But once you take those things from them, then they're just normal like everybody else. So the thing about it is, when 10,000 people show up, and they show up with with weapons or no weapons, 10,000 people is a lot of people, and they said that it was 10,000 men. So it might have been more than that when it includes the women. And that brought an end to that. Then the Prophet was able to walk into Mecca and not harm anybody, not kill anybody, not disturb anybody, not do anything that's would change the situation that's going on in Mecca. And he just went through the Kaaba and kicked out all the idols. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. There's only one God. And he asked, when prayer time come, he asked Bilal to call the adhan. And this first time they seen somebody crawl on top of the Kaaba. It was Bilal, an African, an Abyssinian, crawling on top of the Kaaba and called the adhan, for prayer. Now, you know, we had another thing that, and we have parallel history here, So we don't want to be false in what we do, and how we act towards one another. We don't want to be false. We want to be true to it. That the only way we can be successful is to be true to what we're going to do. If we're going to do something, we're going to do it. If we're not going to do it, we're not going to do it. All those things should be stated. I can do that, I can't do that. I'm going to do that, I'm not going to do it. It's simple. You don't have to save face, you don't have to lose face, and nobody's going to think the sight of you if you say you can't do it, or you don't have time, or whatever. Then they move on to somebody else, but at least something will get done by somebody else. If it doesn't get done by anybody, but it's not, you won't hang things up like that. But this comes from knowledge, having knowledge of what your commitment is in your faith, and how strong you're supposed to be in your faith. Now, we had a practice of saying, when we pray, we turn toward the east and pray. That's an incorrect statement. We don't turn toward the east and pray. We turn toward the Kaaba. Mm-hmm. And the Kaaba may be east, it may be west, it may be north, it may be south. It's America. It is, in some parts of America, it is due east. Mm-hmm. But in other parts of America, it is not due east. It's because the earth is round. Right. talk about the Kaaba. So it's easy to say we turn toward the east, but that's not a true statement in our Islam. We turn toward the Kaaba. Now, when Allah revealed to the Prophet that the Qibla had changed, that the direction had changed, and that the people should pray instead of towards Jerusalem, pray towards the Kaaba in Mecca. The people did a full turn, a 180-degree turn. Now, what position is Mecca from Jerusalem? And what position is Mecca from Medina?
North and south.
Anybody?
North and south.
North and south. So you're praying south then, from Medina to Mecca. You're praying south. Go to turn toward Jerusalem, you're praying north. All right, well that's south. Well, they were praying south, they weren't praying toward the east, they were praying toward the Kaaba. That is the key point. We turn toward the Kaaba. Wherever you are, turn toward, what did Allah say? The sacred house. Yes, sir.
Yes, for LA, it's 366 degrees to the Kaaba. Every city or every part where you live in, there's different degrees. They got a compass that you can look for whatever town you live in and the time of the exact place where the Kaaba is. LA is 366.
How we get 366?
Well, hey, I got the fucking book.
Well, how many degrees in the circle?
360. Well, in other words,
Well, how we get 366?
No, well,
That's
here-
all I'm asking.
okay, now, all right.
I'm asking for clarity.
Okay, now, all right, we'll break that down to you. It's 360 degrees to a
To
circle.
us, not to me.
Yeah, all right, to us. It's 360 degrees to a circle. Okay, that's exactly, say north is exactly here. So what you do, you go slightly 6 degrees to the right, and that's where the Kaaba is.
So you just keep on counting. You don't count at 360.
You know, you count the 360, but you add 6 to it. So say 360, then you, to the right, you go 6 degrees more, then you slide, just like that, a prayer rug. There you go.
Oh, okay.
And,
we-
This is the direction. We got 65, 60, 60, about 65. That's 65 degrees right there.
Yeah, 66, yeah. See that? Just like the rug, that's it.
To go east is 90, 94, 90,
That's too far.
92.
You go 66. Yeah. See?
Well,
See?
that might be an easy way to remember it,
Uh-huh.
but that's not how it works on paper.
See,
Doesn't say that on paper. It will go to the limit of what it is, and then it will start all over again. It's like a 24-hour day. In the West and most of the other countries, the time starts at midnight.
Mhm.
It separates AM from PM, right? So at midnight it separates AM from PM.
Right.
So it's two 12-hour days. 12 hours for AM, 12 hours for PM. And that's when the time starts. Time starts like that. But in Iran, it doesn't start like that. In Iran, it's different.
Okay.
Iran starts their new day with a new time clock that begins at sunset.
At Maghrib.
Yeah. It begins at sunset. That is because Maghrib is the first prayer of the new day.
Mm-hmm.
Because the new day, the 24-hour day starts at night.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Maghrib starts, and that's when they start their time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to Iran, your watch or your clock is worthless. Even the minutes and hours, all of them are different.
Mm-hmm.
Around the world, if it's 5 minutes past 6, say, it's 5 minutes past the hour everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere you go, it's 5 minutes past the hour at that particular time. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. But in Iran, that's not how it works. It works when sun set, the clock starts on 1. And then it goes all the way around to sunset again. Then it starts all over again. And if the sun sets according to your clock at 5 p.m., then that's when the time stops in Iran. 5 p.m. to them becomes 1. And they go all the way around like that. And the minutes begin the same way. So the time is not the same. Even in nearby Iraq, it's very difficult to measure the time between Iraq and Iran, because of what Iran does this was when Iraq was under the Sunnis. They might have changed now, I'm not sure, or maybe not, simply because they're under the Western persuasion now. They may still hold to the Western time of the 24 hours. But in Iran, it's different. It's different from that. But that's fine. That's the way it is. That's their culture. If that's how they want to start it, but in Islam, that's when the day ends. The day ends in Maghrib, and it begins too. Same time, and then it starts all over again. But we accept the culture, and we accept all the things that is Islamic and that is Islamic, without trying to force our way and our beliefs and our ideas and our concepts on other people. So we have this time, like the Prophet had, prayers and peace be upon him, the time of peace. And when we have this time of peace, we want to do all that we can. And the old scripture used to say, when the sun is out, this is when you do all of your work. But when the sun goes down, no man can work. That's how they put it. So, we're told that Allah give us that sunlight so that we can see what we're doing. Very difficult to see what you're doing at night, especially in the rural areas, where the only light that you have is the light of the stars or the light of the moon, or the moonlight, which is only a reflection anyway. So we have some interesting things that's happening in Sham, really. One of them is this Jumu'ah that Brother Imam Talib was telling me about. I heard about it. I didn't know, but I do know who's the leader of it. The leader of it is this sister that is part of an Impact. She's part of Impact. She's the one that does all of the television, the television program. Matter of fact, she was here when we had that program here back in the summertime when you came up there and so boldly stated about that little book that you had. Mm-hmm. She wanted to ask you for where it was from and how could she get a copy of it. And she was here. Anyway, she was the leader of this particular thing. So I let him tell us about what happened.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, it was actually a situation that was brought to my attention, really through my wife, because she was actually invited to it through a friend of hers, sister that actually lives on the East Coast. So they flew her out on the East Coast for, I believe, Jumu'ah yesterday. It's for women only. I'm not gonna say women only, but it was for women. And I think it was in honor of a new masjid built for women. And they had I believe their first Jumu'ah because the sister that's a friend of my wife, she was called out to call the adhan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So they had and then there were some pictures as well that my wife showed me that they had, and so it was something new to me. Women having their own Jumu'ah in this new facility. I believe it's somewhere off of Vermont, over by the Islamic Center, in that area, somewhere over there. Mm-hmm. So that was something that I thought would be a good topic for us to speak on today, and things of that nature.
Well, so that means that now we have another non-conformist masjid goes with that one, which is the homosexuals. Homosexuals have a masjid too. Muslim homosexual, yeah. Yeah, they got Muslim homosexuals.
Hey, where's that mindset so I know to stay away from
They
that?
just like they got Muslim bank robbers and Muslim,
That's right.
they got Muslim homosexuals too. Everything that happens in the world, you can find it's like this somewhere in a religious community somewhere. Not dominant, but presence. Their presence are there. So now, I knew about them, but this one was new to me. And so, what is your opinion? What do you think? What do you think of it? No, everybody's quiet.
Is it possible
Yes,
that
sir.
could you actually be a Muslim and be a homosexual? Is that possible?
Well, yeah. You just, yeah.
You could call
Yeah.
yourself a Muslim.